Do, 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 do. Alright. Howdy how to the YouTubes. How's everybody doing? Nathan was in the chat before I started. She wore my hammer till I 40,000. Nice. Well done. When are you in Tehe expecting? How you doing today, Nathan? Hope everything's going good. Hope, are you at work right now? Gotta remember the time zone difference. It's 5 hours, I think. So you probably just finished work then. Where's my math off? My math might be off. But anyway, how you doing? How you doing? No, without very much ceremony, I'm getting right back into working on good old Dorn here. Sweet Lord, this has been in the works for so long. It needs to get done. Yeah, one thing I noticed immediately after zooming in that picture for the thumbnail is I accidentally nicked some of the gray from his beard. Right there. Still at work? Ah, okay. I was like, for me, I'm thrown off. The time zone difference between our areas is just, it throws me off every time. So I'm work at the moment, last 30 minutes, and then I'm home. Nice. Working on a new video. Awesome. Can't wait for it. I'm excited. Got you in the background to pass the time. My condolences about the military, by the way. Yeah, I mean, it was disappointing, but not much you can do about it. I mean, it's a bit of a blow, especially when, you know, you were putting as much, like, hope in it as I was. But it's just the nature of things. I mean, we're technically not in a full-blown war yet. Hopefully, knock on wood, hopefully we stay out of it, but standards usually drop during times such as that, but as we're more to say we're not at war right now might not necessarily be correct objectively, but we're not in as much of a hot war at the moment, or directly. So the military is can afford to be a little bit more picky. That's not what they said to me. That's just what I gather from being rejected. I mean, I passed everything else, like, you know, the physical I passed, and all the other tests, my background, everything passed except for one thing, but it only takes one thing to get failed on. In my case, it's having autism. They don't like it when you have, like, mental issues before going in, like depression, autism, ADHD, you know, these things that they don't like. That's why most people, when you, and I didn't, well, I did listen, but I didn't realize I couldn't even go as far as to say that I had autism. But most people recommend, whenever they ask you, like, hey, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? Just say no, no matter what it is. Even if it's not necessarily 100% true that you don't have something. Most people I talked to said just tell them no. But I told them yes on the one thing, because I didn't want to lie. I didn't want to lie when they asked, like, hey, do you have any disabilities? Or do you have any kind of, like, you know, do you have anything of that nature we should know about? And in my mind, because I'm so high functioning, I don't think it's a big deal. So I was like, yeah, I technically am on the autism spectrum. But for them, it was a very big deal. It was an automatic disqualification at MEPS. And from there, I talked to the Air Force liaison, applied for a waiver, and things just didn't work out. But it was worth the college try, and I don't regret having tried. The only thing I regret is that I had to pay the city of Portland, Maine, like $60 to park while I was at MEPS. That's the only part of that whole process I regret. Everything else, it was an honor to at least get the opportunity, even if it didn't work out. But yeah, that's it for, like, regrets. Mental issues going in, that makes them liable. Mental issues during, well, that's just a byproduct. Pretty much. I mean, that's kind of the joke I've been making with, you know, my folks is they don't want you to have problems going in. They want you to have problems. They want to give you the problems. And it's, hey, you can't have PTSD before you come in. That's our job. Yeah, I mean, I could stress about it a lot more, but I just don't see the point. just gonna, knuckle down, get back to making some more videos and doing some more fun stuff. And if it makes money, it makes money. If it doesn't, I got other things I can work towards. I got some other goals that I'd like to hit now in life. I'm thinking about in the way, this is like a far, far future. This is not something I see happening within the next 10 to 15 years. But like fast forward to like when I'm in my 40s, I'm hoping I'll have enough income and enough capital earned to open up a game shop. That'd be fun. I mean, Warglaive is, I guess, kind of attached to that. It'd be fun to have like a Warglaive shop and everything. But obviously, I'd want more than just Warglaive at the shop. I wanted like card games and stuff there where people could come in and play a bunch of different things. It could be fun. That's like a far future idea that has come to mind. Now, the world is my oyster, as they say. Imagine your lass is somewhat pleased with the military, like in a bittersweet way. Actually, her reaction was interesting. I told her, and she was kind of matter of fact about it. I think it's because by now she just grew used to the idea that she would like lose me for like 6 to 9 months. So she had already prepped herself so much that when that got knocked off, she was just like, oh, okay, well, if that's the situation. She was a lot more like, it was actually eerie because I was expecting her to be like, I expected that to be like the one positive out of the situation. And she would be like, oh my God, you don't have to go. But I don't know, she was just kind of blasé about it. She was like, oh, okay. So that was funny, but it's it's okay. I mean, she's probably like, though she wasn't exactly the most expressive about it. She was probably happy with not having to be without me for too long. Thing is, at a distance, Rogal Dorn's face looks great. It's when I like look close that I'm like, oh my God, there's like some annoying flaws here and there. Okay, we should get out of this. Okay, I got that. Hey, Nico, what's up? My boy doing the Dorn justice. At least I'm trying to. The head is... It's looking pretty good, and I am happy how it's looking overall. That green stuff is holding up pretty well. I think the head is done now. I just need to do those little bit of touch-ups, but I think he's good. And at a distance, he looks great, but it's those close-ups. I keep like looking, and I see little things here and there, but overall, nothing worth holding up the show for. All right, so that's the head done. I can set that aside. Let that dry. All right, now we can hit on the armor today. Well, I was torn between doing the armor or doing the cloak. Because the cloak... I'm using this little ditty as reference for part of it. Problem is, I'm not sure if the cloak is supposed to be red inside and out, or if it's supposed to be white on the outside, red on the inside, like a little trim. I'm not sure. That's weird. Two of my prongs have nothing on them. Huh. Did something pop off them? Okay. Now I have questions. Hopefully that's nothing bad that I'm missing. I don't know, just eyeballing it. I got the torso, I got the cloak. I got two other pieces of the base. Side shield, backpack, weapon, arm, both legs. I don't think I'm missing anything, but I have two empty prongs. Huh. Well, I'll worry about that later. We'll see what I'm missing. What am I? No, actually, no. This is gonna bother me. What the fuck am I missing? I think I have everything. Like, I'm just looking at the parts list. I mean, I don't have some bits and bobs on here, but that's... Huh. Dorn should be missing a hand? No! This is him at his peak. He will not be missing an arm. Yet. Not yet. Alright, well, those mystery prongs aside... yeah, what I'm probably gonna do for sure right now is I'm gonna dry brush all of the golden armor with silver to catch those edges. And after that, I'm going to hit up the cloak probably. I don't know how much I can get done today, but I'm gonna try my best to get as much done as possible. Just color it to what feels natural. I mean, there's an argument for that. And it's not my model is the thing. Like, this is a commission for Caboose, so it's what he wants that is what matters here. So let me get my dry brush materials. Oh, we have the paint palette. I'll put the cloak aside here for now. Actually, to make my life a little bit easier, I'm going to take these off the sticks, because those are going to stab me. And that hurts. Downside with using skewers. I'm using skewers. They might try and skewer me. Boom. I'll tell you something weird that's been happening like with the channel last 2 days. So I keep getting a notification on my phone that I've hit 11,000 subs, but then I go back and check, and then it's like down to 1099, and a couple times I have seen it at 11,000. So I keep like gaining 1 or 2 subs and then losing 2 or 1 or 2 as well at the same time. I don't know if it's the same people subscribing and unsubscribing, or if it's like weirdly conveniently at the same time I'm gaining a couple subs, like 2 or 3 old subs are unsubbing. I don't know what's going on there, but that's been kind of funny to keep getting notifications about. Off the stick. While I do this, just so you guys see the full table here. Currently removing the skewers from the alligator clips. Boom. There we go. All removed. I can put the skewers aside, and now I will not be stabbed with them. Because that is what's on the other end, and I'm holding them like this. And I'm not that far from the table, so when I like shift back as I'm like trying to paint, I keep borderline or straight up stabbing myself, and it's not fun. Alright, so now put that aside. The dry brush materials. These are a little bit crusty. That can do. I'd prefer to do better than can do. Drop something. It'll be fine. Okay. That's much better. We'll go with that for the dry brush material. don't think I'll need all 3 of those, but I'll grab all 3 just in case. And of course, for the dry brush, we'll need the actual silver, which I like Vallejo's silver. So, put that on there. We shall begin the dry brush. Hey, Vivek, how you doing? How's it going, lad? Do 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 do. Yep. Did you see the phalanx father? It's a big, beautiful phalanx. The biggest phalanx you'll ever see, believe me. Oh, wait, no, that's in quotes. You see the phalanx father? It's a big, beautiful phalanx. The biggest phalanx you'll ever see, believe me. What are you quoting? And I figure that you're quoting like a comedic version of Rogal Dorn. Was that in Texas Speech Advice or something? I didn't watch all of them, so I won't know every reference. There we go. And the Nerd Daredevil comes out tonight. I forgot streaming does noon premieres. Daredevil. Oh, they're doing a new Daredevil thing? Neat. Hopefully it's good. I haven't been following that stuff. Alright, I think I overdid it a little bit there, but I can do some corrective painting with more Retributor. Alright. Dry brushing can be relaxing, but sometimes it can be frustrating when it doesn't look right. Thankfully, I'm doing pretty good so far. No major issues. The Donnie J impression of Dorn went over his head. I suppose it did, Donnie J. I don't know, it's early in the morning for me. Maybe my brain's not working. That could very well be the case. There we go. Brain. Ahmad. I kept wanting to say Ahmed. Ahmad and Adnan. Yeah, have you heard about Trench Crusade? I have. I am not interested myself. Well, I was, but I lost interest pretty quickly. Hopefully they're successful, though. I mean, I'll never wish on the downfall of something, especially from a community perspective. But I have heard of it, yes. I'll tell you this, I was definitely not impressed with their prices. What is going on there? It's kind of buildup of something here. Weird. So any painting tips for beginners? That's a pretty broad question because there's lots of tips I could give, and it would vary expansively. It depends on I got like some general ones. Thin your paints. I'd recommend getting a wet palette. Wet palettes are going to be how you can preserve your paints over a long period of time and also keep them moist and thinned while you paint, so you don't have to do it manually every time you put down a new paint. I'm using a dry palette for my dry brush, but when you're applying like a base coat or standard coats of paint, and even highlights, you're going to want to thin it with water, and wet palettes are the easiest way I know how to do that. So wet palette, it's a very, very good idea to get. Don't be afraid to just get synthetic brushes. There's a bit of a thing in the mini painting sphere where there's like a lot of, I won't call it elitism because it's not that bad. Like, I don't think people are that like verbose about it. What happened here? Oh, this got some chips of the paint here. What happened? The rest of these don't have that problem. Before I even apply more, I need to fix that because that is some paint damage there. But other advice I could give for beginners, outside of the basic of thin coats, apply 2 thin coats to any base paint you want to do, because once you thin your paints, ideally it's going to be very, very thin. So most of like a color you want to be like predominant or want to be strongly displayed, make sure to do 1 coat around of all the parts of that mini you want to be solidly painted. Good example would be this World Eaters, this World Eaters unit I have here. I did 2 thin coats of red all across all the plated parts I wanted, so that makes it so the color is very predominant and it's not very see-through to the base coat underneath. It was base coated with Retributor Gold too, so I'm very happy that none of that's shining through the red. Most of the other advice that comes to mind is like specific to like where you might be questioning things, so it varies. But I guess that's like the most bare bones advice I'll give is make sure to thin your paints. Do not also prime your minis. I guess a lot of these I'm trying to remind myself that the advice I'm giving right now isn't it. The advice I'm giving is not necessarily, because it's hard to separate. Like I'm experienced in painting, so I'm trying to think like what would a new person just not know. When it comes to painting your minis, step one of all the ones after assembly is prime your minis with a proper paint primer. Don't feel you need to get like obviously you're Trench Crusade, so this doesn't necessarily need to apply to you. But let's say you're getting into Warhammer first time. Don't feel that you need to get Citadel's primer cans. That's not necessary. Many paint companies make primers. You can even go to a hardware store and get a really cheap primer from them that'll work on minis. Of course, there's many videos on YouTube that have gone over like what the best brands are, what the best particular primer spray is here or there. But overall, just prime your minis before you paint them. If you paint your minis directly with the acrylics onto just the plastic or the resin or whatever the model might be made out of, that paint will chip and strip off with minimal actual wear and tear from you directly. So yeah, those are 2 like bare bones bits of advice I could give. The other day, clearing out some storage, I found some old Rogue Trader metal orcs. Ooh. Nice, very nice. That is a callback and a half. Where is my Retributor Gold? I had one over here. I know I did. There it is. In the back. Have you heard about other heresies like the Dornian heresy? Yes. I don't know a single 40k fan who hasn't heard of the Dornian heresy. I mean, if you do like any kind of like bare minimum lore dive, that's one of the first things you'll find for like fan I guess I wouldn't be a fan theory, but like a fanfic, is the Dornian heresy. Yes, and I'm very familiar with it. I don't agree with the whole premise of it, but I get where people are coming from. It's a fun exploration of a what if. I will give it that. I do think it would never happen though, in the lore. Dorn was too loyal. It never would have happened. But if you change some factors around and change who Dorn is as a character around a bit, then yeah, the Dornian heresy was totally possible. But by that same notion, a loyalist Angron was also possible. Come on, open up. Look at that. That is caked. I mean, it's still workable though. Might need to apply some thinner in there though. Trying to shake it up as best I can by hand, but this is where sometimes I wish I had that. I can't remember what they're called, but it's like a little vibrator machine thing. You could just put the paint pot or the paint thing on it, and it'll shake it for you. I don't have one of those, so doing it by hand. You thinking about making a homebrew Chaos Warband? Nice. That could be fun. Okay, it's thinning a little bit, but not super great. I just need a little bit of it for right now. I'll worry about getting the rest of it later. Alright, let me do some quick repairs and touch-ups here. I guess that's for when it fell on the floor, maybe. There's a couple spots here where the paint chipped, so I'm just quickly throwing on a repair. Let that dry before I dry brush it. Be real quick and go through the rest of these and see if any of the other spots need a quick touch-up. We're good there. And we're good there. Okay, so good. It was just the one. I can't put water in paint bottles to turn it back to normal. I wouldn't recommend using just water, especially with acrylics. I'd actually recommend getting an actual proper paint thinner. If Vallejo makes a pretty good one, I use theirs for my airbrush. I know there's another popular brand that makes a airbrush thinner, or a paint thinner in general. Get bashed oddities. Welcome to stream. I'm doing a Nephilim for Trench Crusade contest from Grimdark Compendium. Neat. They're doing a contest? And I wish you luck in the contest. Hope you win. A lot of Trench Crusade people today. That's interesting. How do you open one of the Warhammer paint without popping it open? Gently and carefully. Generally, I grip like so with the paint pots, and then you peel. Basically, you're going to end up... It's going to hurt, but you're going to stab your hand into this real quick. And though it'll hurt, you just want to gently rotate your wrist. Don't try and like tear it open. You just don't pull with your whole arm. Just do the wrist action. I feel like if you took the audio of what I'm saying right now, it might sound a bit wrong out of context. But yeah, it just with a little bit of wrist action, you can peel it open without it popping. So gently is, I guess, the answer to that question. Hey, Havoc, how you doing? Good morning, lad. Maybe doing good. I can now... Right brush. Uh-oh. Not good. You're quite overwhelmed with the seminary work, but otherwise I'm all right. How about you? I could be better, but I'm finding the energy to improve and be more enthusiastic. And the rejection from the military wasn't the best feeling, but upward tilt. Focus on the future and better endeavors to come. That's what I'm trying to do. And also I'm trying to get this done because this is very late in the game here. My hands are really small, so that's... I'm sorry, I don't mean to make fun of you, but the first thing I thought of when I read that was... I think it's from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There's this character who goes, "You see, I have these tiny hands." Sorry. My hands are really small, so that's why I'm asking which is a D. Which is a D? That's a good and bad thing. Sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, that's life, you know. Sometimes you don't have the best of luck. Yeah, but I'm not sure what you mean by small hands, I guess, in this case. The paint pots themselves are tiny, so I can't... I'm just trying to imagine it. Like, let's say your whole palm... Like, again, I don't know what you mean by tiny. Unless your hands are, like really tiny, no matter what, you're still going to grip it the same way I am here. You're still going to peel and rotate your wrist. Like... unless you have, like, hands the size of a baby's, which that has an entirely different conversation attached to it, I suppose, at that point. Plan to get a video out before going to Paris later this month. What? They do hand enlargement surgery in Korea. What? Huh? Like, first I got Nico over here going, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to Paris in a week. Yes, I should get a video out before I go." And then over here, I got Kip Bash. He's like, "By the way, they make hands bigger in Korea." Huh? What's going on? Turn it right or left? Neither. Rotate back. Like, you want wrist back. Grip. Alright, are you watching the stream? Watch the stream. Paint pot. You can do this. I'm turning my hand horizontal so you can see, but holding paint pot in the palm of one hand, if you're left-handed or right-handed, I guess it'll change. With your dominant hand, your non-dominant hand, put the paint pot down, grip it into your palm, and squeeze. So use your fingers if you have to. As long as you get a firm grip on the bottom of the paint pot, grab hold of the top. Put fingers underneath the lip, right here, of the paint pot. Grip. And slowly, but with force, peel back. Don't yank. Slowly rotate back the hand, the dominant hand that is gripping the paint pot cap, back. And it should open just fine. My condolences, Nico. Just declare you are invading and they'll surrender. Okay, where did my server go? Like a banana. I don't open bananas that way, but if that works for you, sure. And when I open a banana, I grab it with my thumb and my forefinger, and I just rip it open on one side and then rip the rest aside. Perhaps I'm the odd one there. I don't know. There you go. My condolences, Nico. Just cleared ready and no surrender. I don't know. The French nowadays are getting weird. They might surrender and also worship him, and I don't think he wants to become the god of France. So careful, Nico. Surrender is not always a good thing, especially when it comes to obligations. All right, dry brush the chest. There we go. All right, boom. I'm assuming that's dry enough now. Yep. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, whoops. There we go. Would be funny to exit the plane in a mime cosplay with a wine and white flag. Such vicious critique of the French in chat today. I mean, I've made this joke several times in my community Discord, but if we ever got like a French community member, they would be alienated within like 24 hours tops. We've made so many French surrendering jokes, and that is like the nicest thing we've said about the French. My community is very mean to the French. I guess it's because like so many of the community have been like British and stuff, or German or Bulgarian, or a lot of countries that would make fun of the French. French will never live down their surrender in World War II. Ever. Alright. Beam. You were correct. It did work. I know. Crazy. It's almost like I've done this a lot. I've painted so many minis over the years. It's just par for the course of opening paint. I really wish Citadel didn't do paint pots because they really do suck. Honestly, like I wish they would switch to dropper bottles, but they won't because they know dropper bottles last longer. Like paints in a proper tight seal like this, you can keep around for years and years. You open up a Citadel paint pot, that will eventually get dry and crusty and unusable after. Granted, if you tighten the seal well enough and you're consistent about it, you can keep those around for years and years, but they wear out. Like universally, it's easier to screw up sealing a paint pot over time, so it can only really hurt you. Oh, by the way, I guess I should point this out. Oh, let me put them over here. So the reason, I've said this before on the streams, but I'll say it real quick here. So the reason Dorn has I put this on with green stuff, by the way. This is just sculpted on by me. But the reason Dorn has a I almost want to call it a walrus mustache, but I'm not sure if this is actually what that's called. The chops. The reason he's got the chops is this is a direct request by the person who commissioned this from me. That'd be my buddy Caboose. So that is his call, as this will be his model after I'm done painting him. So that is why. And he was insistent upon it. So I had to sculpt it on a while back. Alright, so we're done with the dry brush of silver for now anyway. I can't think of anything else I gotta do with it for right now. Set that aside. Put my dry brush tools away. Boom. Alright. I'm gonna give these just a second to dry, and then we're gonna apply. Hello. A little bit different there. But then I'm gonna apply a Reichland Flesh Shade to the armor. So the reason I'm going to be applying a Reichland Flesh Shade is it'll give it a kind of like a bronze or kind of like a faded gold tinge. And the dry brush with the silver will help the edges like retain a little bit of a natural blush. Caboose has good taste. Yes, he does. I mean, after all, he hired me as his painter, so the man knows skill and talent where it can be found. No. Jokes aside, he does have good taste, and I do think I hope anyway, he will be happy with this by the time it's done. I have come to learn that the only thing Europeans hate more than Americans is other Europeans. True. The world hates us a lot right now, but the funny thing is I don't know a single person in the U.S. who gives a damn. It's fun knowing that the rest of the world hates us so much. Like, in some cases, I think it's fair. Like when you talk about like Johnny Somali and American tourists like of his ilk that go places, it's totally fair to hate on us. I don't think that's unfair. And though I will still stand by Johnny Somali and his like are not at all representative of the average American. He is, I think, becoming more and more of an accurate representation of that generation of Americans. So, I can't blame the rest of the world for hating on us on that specific level, because he has done a lot of damage, and I hope to God he goes to prison for life in Korea. I really do. I don't know if there's any updates on that situation. I know he got arrested there, and he got in deep shit. But I also know that they made him do the same thing that the Japanese made him do. Just do a public apology. And then he was sent on his way and banned from the country. If Korea does that, at this point, every country Johnny Somali goes to, he's just relying on the fact that they don't want to go through the hustle and bustle of arresting a foreigner. And sadly, it's working. Because a lot, like seriously, if he were a citizen of any of these countries doing the things he's doing in them, he would have already been in prison. He would have already been locked up long term. The reason he hasn't been arrested is solely because first of all, he's an American citizen, and they don't want to go through the hustle and bustle of jailing a foreign entity into the country. Because for that process, at least, granted, I'm not familiar legally with the whole thing, but I imagine that part of that it comes with a lot of like legal back and forth between the home country of the individual in question and not. And I don't think the governments of these countries think it's worth the effort to have to correspond with America, and with dealing with Johnny and like people like him. I think they just don't see it as worth the effort yet, especially as, technically speaking, he's not incredibly violent or dangerous. It's not like he's committing terrorist acts. He's just being a heinous tumor on the side of any society he goes and visits. That being said, I would kill to watch somebody beat his ass. He's been beat up a couple of times, but not like, in my opinion, not properly. No offense to the Koreans who've beat him up, or to the There was a white guy actually in Japan that attacked him, didn't they? I don't know. Point is, I don't think anyone's gone the full mile with kicking his ass. Like no one has actually properly like people have hit him once or twice and pushed him, but I don't think anyone's beat his ass. And I'm not advocating for violence, but in Minecraft, somebody should really beat his ass like properly. I don't know. Like I just it's amazing how lucky that son of a bitch is. I'll be fair to him on only one point. The Chinese tourists are worse. I don't know. Are they? I mean, don't get me wrong. Most of them are tourists with air quotes, but they're just obsessed with taking photos. At least they're genuine tourists in the sense that they're actually there because they want to look around, they want to take photos, and they want to like experience the place that they're in. Uh, but in terms of like disruptiveness, unless I like, granted, we don't get like any here in Maine for Chinese tourists, so maybe I'm missing something. But have any of them gone out of their way to like piss on like American foundations and like history sites? Have they gone and like harassed our like locals and stuff to the point of like disturbing behavior and like acted like complete pricks the whole time? Like if like I don't think I've seen that from Chinese tourists. I think they're just like rambunctious, but it's not the same thing as what Somali does. Like, what the fuck is his real name? I don't believe his real name is Johnny Somali. I could be wrong, but I think that isn't that like an internet name or something. My source is knowing a couple tour guides. Okay. A lot of the hate here comes from the boomer libtards or college student. You said collage students. It's college is spelled College. Sorry, I don't mean to nitpick, but I don't want you going to another chat and saying collage, thinking it's college. I will kindly correct you. Other places will mock you. My sources. Okay. Chinese tourists are very destructive by reputation in the trade. Really? Are they? I've never heard that. Granted, I don't know any tour guides or anything like that, so I don't have the proper frame of reference. But perhaps I've just been lucky. Mm-hmm. All right, set that down for this. Fair enough. I mean, to be fair, some of the courses in those universities are basically just a collage. I mean, okay, fair enough, I guess. But not all of them are. There we go. Set that down to dry. Wait, hold on. I forget. I want to get the top there. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys have heard it yet, but there's a song came out a couple days ago by Colm McGinnis, or Colm R. McGinnis, I think is like the full name he goes by, which I think is his real name. Kind of think of it, but it's a really good Western song of Space Marines in 40K. Like if you guys can we'll look it up. It's really worth checking out. I'd play it for you, but I don't know what Colm's. I say that like I know the guy. Apologies, I do not know him personally. But I don't know what Mr. McGinnis is. What's feels weird to say. I don't know what his policy is on like sharing or like replaying of his music. I'm sure especially a couple days after, he doesn't want like some rando YouTuber like me playing his shit for free on a live stream, well, and not get the ad revenue from it. So to be respectful, I'm just going to recommend go checking it out. But it was really, really good. Like, I was surprised. I had listened to other music from him, like Black and Tans and things like that, and he was always fun to listen to. But I didn't know what to expect going in. I wasn't expecting a Western. Normally when I see YouTubers do, like music YouTubers do, like music for 40K, it's like heavy metal and stuff, like which is great, and I love heavy metal, so like I don't think that's a bad thing. But that's usually what I expect. I was actually pleasantly surprised to hear like a Western song, and it fit extremely well. So if you guys haven't seen that, go check that out. Definitely worth a listen. There we go. Kian Klupak? Yeah. Kian Klupax. Welcome to stream. Damn, is that thumbnail your work? Yes. Though I had to touch it up a little bit because the face wasn't quite right. I cleaned it up a little bit more. But yeah, that's the head right there. Cleaned it up a little bit more since the thumbnail. And if you want other examples of my work, here's a more completed mini I've done in the past. I keep them on my desk at this point as good luck. None of this is airbrush, by the way. This is all brushwork. I actually have a whole video on the channel if you guys want to look it up. Probably easier to look it up than actually like go on the channel page because I made it a while ago. But yeah, I made a whole video where I painted this guy. This was all dry brush here, and then a little bit of wet blending for parts of it. But yeah, that's my work. And for some other extra credit, here's a bit of an older model I did years and years ago. It's covered in here. But this is one I did a couple years ago for my Black Templars. Again, all hand painted. Awesome work, dude. Word bearer. Yes. That was the idea when I did it. It was just a one-off. I don't like the word bearers enough to make a whole army out of them, but it was meant to be a word bearer. But red in general also, because I also make like corn armies, so it can easily be converted as a corn but non-world eater. Question mark. Chaos Marine. Yes. So I am steadily getting. But what I'm working on right now is a Rogal Dorn commission for my buddy Caboose, which he commissioned over a year and a half ago now. So I am extremely late getting this done, but I'm working on it. I'm going to get it done as soon as I possibly can. Right now I'm just applying the wash. I'm being very delicate about it. Wordbearers and Eldar are your current armies. Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, my current armies, I've been running orcs since I got into the hobby 12 years ago, I think. Yeah, about 12 years ago, I think. I that's been my main army. I've recently got enough to like expand to doing world eaters, so I'm gonna do world eaters soon. I also have my old Imperial Guard, though I probably won't play them again anytime soon. Been focusing on other armies. Let's see. I have my Horse Heresy army as well. Hey, what's up, Greg? Good day, Mungray. What's up? How you doing? Coming to visit us mere mortals before you go off to Black Library? I understand. It's good to see you, lad. Orcs are a massive dick energy army. Orcs are a massive, I know I'm going to lose, but I'm going to have as much fun losing as I possibly can army. I know, I've always loved my orcs. They're all, a good chunk of them are behind me right there. Got my Stompa, which is clearly in view, and then it's harder to see, obviously, with the webcam as small as it is. But I got a bunch of my other units over there. Got my Battle Wagon, got my Custom Orc War Boss, some of my Killicans, my Death Dreads, a load of other units. And that's not even all my orcs. Most of my orcs are actually in a bag ready to go to a tournament at any time. I always have a 2,000 point army ready to go. I have like over... Jesus, not sure. I'm not sure what the point value is at this point, but a very large point value of my orcs. There you go. Sorry, I just want to make absolutely sure that touch-up looked right. There we go. I have sent a lot of heated emails. Wow, okay. I love Orc Shooter mech focus lists. Yes, those can be a lot of fun. I will say one of my most proudest moments in 40k as a player is when I beat a Tau army in shooting with orcs. How did I do that? Sixes, baby. So many sixes, and they rolled so many ones. I won entirely off of luck, but hey, that's being an orc player. Ah, that was one of my proudest moments. And the other, I could tell the other player, he took it in good stride, but it was fucking hilarious. It's just, wow. He lost to, that's got to be I not that I hope for it, but I feel bad in this sense because that's got to be a sting. You play Tau, which your thing is shooting. Like, that's Tau's whole shtick, is just being great at shooting. And you not only do you lose at shooting, but you lose to the one army who's worst at shooting. Orcs. It was fucking hilarious. I'm trying, but Titus is too good. much better. Hey, Nathan, welcome back. Or actually, no, sorry, you had me on the background. My bad. 90 freebooters was such a funny list. I don't think I ever ran freebooters in 9th edition. Well, as like a dedicated list. I didn't run freebooters. But you see, Titus is a terrible Ultramarine. I mean, he is. He's a terrible Ultramarine. He's a great Space Marine. He's a terrible Ultramarine. Kind of hate Ultramarines less since the secret level episode, and I don't know if that's normal. I don't know why that episode would make you hate them less, since it doesn't really have much to do with Ultramarines. Like, replace that episode with any other chapter, it changes nothing. Like, the Ultramarines being there as an identity is meaningless. So, I would say I'm just confused why that would affect your like or dislike of the Ultramarines in any way. For me, it affected nothing. Like, I still like Titus. I liked him before that, and I still hate the Ultramarines. It had zero bearing. Like, I'd understand if, like, the secret level episode was like, focused on their chapter culture and showcasing, like, the upsides and the downsides of it. Like, I could see that, why that would make you hate them less, is if that was, like, the narrative of the episode. But in terms of the narrative, you replace it with any other chapter, it's the same. Like, you put Titus with literally just a cousin chapter, and nothing plays out differently. Hey, Pires. Good morning. Okay. You're right, Esme, but with Blood Angels, I think they would all fear the Black Rage. I mean, they do all fear the Black. Like, that's a constant fear. And the Thirst, so the Sorcerer would have gotten all 4 of them. More than likely, yes, but not necessarily. Because again, the one common factor that you kind of need for the episode to work is keep Titus there. If you had Titus go with any other 3 Marines, they don't even have to be Ultramarines. Now, obviously, it makes the most sense since he's back with the chapter. But, by all accounts, it could have been a collaboration between 2 chapters. Like, send him with Blood Angels. Yeah, everything would have played out the exact same. Like, nothing would have changed. Send Titus with Black Templars. I would make the argument that none of them would have died. But, arguably, nothing would have changed. Basically, the only common factor that doesn't shift with it, no matter like who you switch out, as long as you keep Titus, the whole thing narratively plays the exact same. The only differences I could think are really subtle ones, like how the Marines approach the cultists that charge them. If you sent a more openly aggressive chapter, because the Ultramarines were more passively aggressive for the most part, except for that headbutt. The headbutt was fucking beautiful. But outside that headbutt, for most part, most chapters, would have treated it the same. But if let's say you send Space Wolves wouldn't have stood there and let the enemy come to them and then meat grinded them. They would have charged them down and tore them to shreds. They would have not only met them but completely run them the fuck over. That that would be with Space Wolves. With Black Templars, a similar thing would have happened with Black Templars. Black Templars wouldn't have let them come to them. They would have charged them down. Because Black Templars are very hyper-aggressive and very melee-focused like the Space Wolves. The only difference is the savagery element. Black Templars would be more precision killers. They wouldn't be as savage or as ruthless, yes, but not as savage. So they would have been more precise cuts and slashes and that kind of element to it. So in subtle things like that, there would be differences. It's in the overall narrative though. Would there anything have changed? As long as you have Titus, no, nothing really changes. Take out Titus, then yeah, there's changes. So I could see that, like, let's say you didn't like Titus before the secret level episode. I could see 100% the secret level episode making you like him now. But I think most people love Titus. Like, if you played the first Space Marine game, you like Titus. If you didn't play that, but you played the new one, you like Titus. If you know of Titus, I'd say 99% of people like Titus. But that has nothing to do with liking or disliking the Ultramarines. If anything, I point out to this all the time. Titus is the worst Ultramarine because he doesn't act like an Ultramarine. If people get so pissed at Leandros and hate Leandros to their core, that makes me laugh because he is an Ultramarine. Like, Leandros is what most Ultramarines are like. Titus is a very against the grain Ultramarine. Very much so. So that's kind of what makes me laugh about that every time I see that. Is like people hating on Leandros and loving on Titus, and then at the same time saying that, oh, and I love the Ultramarines. It's like, oh, you love Leandros then? No, I hate Leandros. He's a total dick. It's like, well, make up your mind. Do you like the Ultramarines or do you not? Because he is the ideal Ultramarine. He treats the fucking Codex like it's a goddamn Bible. Bring some Space Sharks or Minotaurs. Space Sharks would have had the savagery element, but without the glee. Like, they're quiet killers is kind of like their theme. Alright, so I think this is the only one I have to play Wash to now. Well, no. I forgot to dry brush the sword, actually, now that I realize it. Damn it. Okay. Can easily remedy that. Actually, before I fix up that dry brush, I'm going to cheat a little bit here. Stay. We're going to take the right click for that shade. We're going to shake that bitch up. Boom. If Eurofist would have built a fortress outside the shrine and waited for the sorcerer to come out. Funny, but no. They would have been a lot more slow progressing because they would have secured the perimeter and been very, very slow to progress. Well, comparative to the Ultramarines that we saw, but they still would have progressed fairly quickly compared to like how a human force would have moved forward. They certainly would have held up shields and let the enemy come to them as they cut them down. Probably with more bolter fire than with melee weapons. But they would not have created a fortress around the place and waited for the fucking sorcerer to come out. That's funny, but that's not what the Fist would have done. I'll agree to the notion they would have been slow progressing. Like, they definitely would have waited. They would have, well, not waited, but they would have slowed progress. Because they want to be absolutely sure that they get in there proper. I think they also would have done a better job at protecting the Psyker that they brought to shield them from the Sorcerer. But, you know, who's throwing shade? Wash has been applied. Alright, and I need to do a dry brush. You would love to see the same episode with Raven Guard. I would certainly have been interested to see the Raven Guard. The Raven Guard don't get much in terms of portrayal, I think. So they definitely deserve more of that. Ultramarines episode, 15 minutes. Imperial Fist episode, 5 episodes. Space Wolves episode, 5 minutes. Yeah. He's the rule, not the exception. If you're talking about Landros, yeah. He is the rule. Dark Angels. The sorcerer is a fallen. Cue apocalyptic rage. Space Wolves are like Gimli from Lord of the Rings, bragging and boasting the whole fight. Yep. That's actually a pretty good analogy, too, yeah. Okay, so now let us dry brush the sword, because I forgot to do that. My bad. Security. Set that aside over here. Put that there. And... where's my silver at? There's my silver at. You think the rumor of Space Shark's originator are Night Lords? I certainly think that's a fair argument for their originator, because there's a lot of similarities there. The cold, brutal tactics, the kind of sinister vibe to them certainly implies. I don't know. It's hard because for me, I definitely said if you had to twist my arm, who is the progenitor legion of the Space Sharks? I'd say if you twisted my arm about it, I would agree with the notion that it was the Night Lords. Like there's a lot of carryover, but there I think to deny it outright is to be disingenuous, because there is just so much like similarities between them. But I also think that it's fair to make other arguments for like other legions to have been their originators. I would say on the crash of a dime, Night Lords does make the most sense. But there is at least a discussion to be had there. Are Space Sharks a Primaris founding? No. I'm pretty sure they're older than that. And actually, we don't know when they were founded. At least not last I checked. Space Sharks were where they were found, but not. We don't know when they were founded, but we know they were found. By that, I mean... Hold on, let me finish dry brushing here. By that, I mean that they were rediscovered. Because they suddenly appeared. I think it was... Wasn't Vrax, was it? Shit. I know that they kind of appeared out of the void at some point. And they were offering aid on behalf of the Imperium. They were making it clear they were loyalist, and they got involved in some kind of confrontation. I'm trying to remember what conflict it was, but they kind of appeared out of nowhere. So we don't know their exact founding. We don't know when that was. We don't know what legion it was that founded them. We don't know if they're first founding, second founding. We just know what time period they re-ingratiated behind themselves into the galaxy. They're an unknown. Yeah, they are an unknown founding. They're. I'm saying that they predate the Primaris founding. They do. I'm certain that they predate Primaris. I'm just not sure by how much. Like, we don't know if they were first founding or second founding. We don't know exactly when. We do know when they reappeared into the galactic conflict, but we don't know the rest of the details. So they do predate Primaris, though. Carcharodons? Was that Badab War? That might have been the Badab War. Oh. I'd have to look it up to be certain, so I'm not sure which founding that'd be closest to. But even by that point of the Badab War, they themselves made it clear that they had been gone for a long-ass time. So, for all we know, they were second founding. They might have been amongst the earliest Space Marine chapters to deviate off of whoever they originated from. But whoever they originated from, they disappeared for a very long time. Very, very long time. Okay, it was the Badab War. Okay. That certainly helps narrow it down. Alright, so I'm just going to let this dry for a minute or two. That way when I apply the wash, we'll be good. Unrelated, but Kalth was an act of self-defense. Kalth. Oh, that, okay, that. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remind myself of Kalth, because I know what you're talking about. I don't remember all the details. Oh, that's from the Horus Heresy, isn't that? Well, yeah, I think objectively, yeah, that was an act of self-defense. I guess it depends on what specifically you're talking about from that battle, but yeah, I think that was obviously a self-defense thing. Unless you're talking about from the word bearer's perspective. Oh, you're incredibly memeing. Okay. The fact they'd more likely outright tell you if it was Trader Gene seed and a Primaris founding is actually kind of irritating. Removes some of the fun speculation aspect. Hey Nathan, how unlucky do you have to be? Like, not only going into battle with a previously unknown Space Marine chapter, but that same chapter just so happened to contain the tankiest and scariest chapter master ever. Yes, the Red Wake. Ooh. That was my neck. Yeah, Tyberos, the Red Wake. Motherfucker can actually stand next to a Primarch and get close in height. It's like, when did we get another brother? Dorn? Uh-huh. I'm not cis. I am a normal Space Marine. The fuck you are? Big motherfucker. Alright, I think that's dry enough. Alright. Implementer type look. Alright. So the wash has been applied to all the bits and bobs. Now it's just a matter of letting it dry. Some of it's already looking pretty dry. Alright. I'm definitely loving that bronzish, copperish tinge. I do think that's makes it make the feel of a more faded gold. I think is more solid that way. Yeah, definitely have to touch on the gemstones. Actually, what color is his gemstones? Ah, they're like a blood red. Really? I'll be right back. I gotta check something because I think I'm missing a very important piece here. Yep, I'm missing it. So on here, I'm missing 22. There's only so much I can do with green stuff to cover that up. And I've already primed and painted everything else, so. Damn it. I'm gonna have to go looking for it. I have no idea where it could possibly be, though. Shoot. Yeah, I'll worry about it towards the end. Shit. Though of scary combatant chapter masters, I like Asterion Moloch the most. Scared even a custodian when he saw him. And that is an impressive feat. Honorable mention to Azarai Kiris for achieving being a Khorne Psyker. Arguably, he was a Psyker, not a magician. Damn it, Jim. God damn it, Jim. What do you get when you have Eliminator's Luck and Orc's Aim and an Ultramarines Exposure? Your average Stormtrooper. Well. At least Stormtroopers wear helmets. True. True and based, actually. Alright, so I think this is dry enough now that I can start applying some stuff. Alright, how much time do I have on the clock? Not very long, unfortunately. Alright, so I'm gonna try and get as much done as I can in the next half hour. Where's my white? There's my white. Mm-hmm. More of a delicate application. Easiest to make a vibrant red is take the ball red contrast and put it over a white. There we go. Also, account for the comment about stun stupid fat fingers on phone. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Managed to hit Leia because he was force sensitive and he was able to pierce plot armor. I will dub him TK420, twin brother of TK421. I will say this, for all the years I've been painting minis, it's still probably the most relaxing pastime to do. The only exception to that is when I do these commissions, because I always feel so... Like, when I mess up with my own minis, it's like, oh, okay, I'll just, like, go back and clean that up, or I'll fix it up. With someone else's, I'm so much more stressed. Second to drive. He's hoping the Thrawn's Revenge mod comes soon for the new Sins. The new Sins. I could use some Star Destroyer action, come to think of it. Okay. Talk about Star Wars a lot. Armada/Legion. I mean, you could. That's certainly an option. By the way, what do you guys think of these painting Bant streams? Should I do them? Like, how fun are they to engage in? I guess I should ask. I know my problem is I'm terrible at multitasking, so I know sometimes, like, when I'm hyper focusing on like painting something or applying something, I get quiet. So I know that sometimes on that aspect I kind of am not the best. But I was curious if you guys still enjoyed them in spite of that. Chill and chat is always fun by me. Enjoy them. It's fun to chill. Alright, that's good. Had a big painting rush last week with that small contest you had entered. Oh, how'd that go? Did you win? Or place well, or at the very least have fun? Well, you won't know until Sargon's stream, I think. Oh, okay. Is this like a Sargon thing? Okay. I had fun, though. Gandalf, Frodo, and Sam seemed to turn out pretty well. Oh yeah, I remember those images you shared in the Discord. I thought they looked great. So hope you place well. All right, I am going to end the stream here, gentlemen. I'm gonna try and find the piece I'm missing, cause all pieces are important, but this one's very important, so I'd like to find it. I gotta go hunting. I'm not sure where it could be, because I thought I had all the spare pieces in one spot, but apparently not. So, yay. But, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Make sure to leave a like before you guys head out. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, all that YouTuber thing. I'm going to stream again soon, hopefully. And also have some more videos up throughout the week. And, yeah. Catch you guys later. Bye-bye.